Om Shanti and good morning. Am I audible to all the participants? Can someone please unmute and help me with this?
Yes.
All right. So a very warm welcome to all our participants for yet another refreshing session today on the topic reclaiming our inner territory. So today we have with us to help us through with this session, Sister Kreena, who is a very experienced meditator and a Raj Yoga teacher since the last 45 years. She's been associated with the Brahma Kumaris, and she has been giving her dedicated services from the last 35 years now, which is a very, very long time. So in the educational front, she is a graduate in commerce from NM College, Mumbai University. She specializes in meditation courses. As you all know, we have something called 1 week foundation course. So that's her specialty, to conduct the foundation course. She's been doing it for a very, very long time now. She specializes in conducting workshops, seminars, conferences, and retreats in various parts of India, as well as the headquarters, Mount Abu, Rajasthan. She has participated in 4 United Nations projects, UN projects. First one being the rally from Mumbai to Delhi during International Youth Year, in which she represented the organization at the UN. And second was a Million Minutes of Peace Appeal, a global initiative. Third project was Global Cooperation for a Better World. And the fourth being I Pledge for Peace. So these were the 4 projects from the United Nations which Sister Kreena was involved. She is an active member in the business and industry wing of Brahma Kumaris from 1990 as a trainer in giving training programs on various topics like self-managing leadership, stress-free living, etc. Feeling Great Raj Yoga meditation, and she has conducted management training programs in various large and small business organizations, to name a few: Nagarjuna Group of Industry, Larsen and Turbo, Reliance, BPCL, Parley Products, Godrej, and many more. From 1989 to 1999, she directed the Nagarjuna Management Center at Hyderabad, which was sponsored by the Nagarjuna Group, where Nagarjuna Group sent their employees for training programs regularly. Later, many banks and other local companies too sent their staff members. She has traveled extensively to US, UK, UAE, Japan, Singapore, Canada, Sri Lanka, Hong Kong for spiritual and social services. Currently, she is based at the Brahma Kumaris Village Parle branch in Mumbai. So we are very fortunate to have Sister Kreena amongst us to take us through this wonderful topic, which I'm sure we will all relate to very well in the present time. Thank you for joining us, Sister. Over to you.
Thank you so much, Sister Shivani. It's always so nice to join in your ventures at Brahma Kumaris Hyderabad, as well as a warm welcome to all the IT professionals from all over India who have been so actively participating in these series. First of all, it's so nice and so auspicious that we have met in the period of Navratri. And just as we all try to see the perfection in those goddesses, like that, why not, just for another 3 minutes, let us invoke our own perfection through a motivational song, which will be played for all of us. Let's try to see that perfection in ourselves. So 3 minutes, silence, listening actively to the song, and maybe focusing on the light shown in front. Thank you for being together in the same consciousness for a few minutes. That is how we get linked together before we have any program. So those who heard the song clearly and have felt that emotion within themselves, then we are all linked now for an hour in that same consciousness. Today's program let me just present it to you. Today, our topic is reclaiming our inner territory. So, I see you all very busy in your role that you're playing. Of course, the picture here doesn't have a laptop. You think it is there. And there are a lot of other things that you also have to manage along with it. So it's like, you can't do with two hands. You need so many more hands, to manage it. And reclaiming our inner territory, it shows as if, it is like we have lost it. Can we say that? The word reclaiming sounds as if we have lost our inner territory. Anybody from this group feels that we have lost our inner territory? Anybody? Anybody feels? Yeah, it's coming in chat, I think. Just let me read it. Okay. Yes. Okay. There is answer saying that yes, I feel we are losing our inner territory. Maybe not lost everything, but we are losing. So that means we should be knowing the meaning of our inner territory. That's the first thing. And second, losing it means somewhere there is no personal control over our inner territory. It means a lot. Whatever is mine, I try to have a hold on it, right? But in this case, it's like, somebody else from outside has captured us and has claimed our inner territory. And we have to find our way and method of how to reclaim it. Let's study it further. Suppose you are the central focus of your life, right? Is it right? That you are the central focus of your life. But you are connected with many spheres around you. One sphere could be your family, one sphere could be the society, in which, office work, everything comes together. And the entire sphere around you is the environment. So you're always connected like this. You can't be alone anytime. You're always connected like this. You can't be isolated from the spheres of, the first is your own body. You have to do so much for the body, You have to buy clothes, you have to bring food, you have to clean the body every day, you have to see for all the accessories that are required for the body. You need a house, you need a car, everything. Everything comes mostly for the body. So there is one territory which is your own body. The other territory is the society. The other is the environment, total environment. All these are external territories. But you have to constantly be connected with them, But what is happening now is every now and then, there is a bullet firing in your direction. You are being the target in many ways. You're being targeted by other people's behaviors. That is also one of the bullets that is coming now or then. You're never sure when it will come. Suddenly, without even your thought, there could be someone's behavior that just strikes you like a bullet, Sometimes negative work environment, straight away we have written, It's not necessary that the work environment will be negative, but if it is, positive environment is always going to be very nice and you're going to feel very peaceful and happy. But if the negative environment, work environment, then naturally, somebody's going to trouble you. And when you get troubled, you feel disturbed with it in your inner territory. That is what inner territory is, something that you're not able to touch, you're not able to see, because it is inner territory. External territories that are there, you're able to see, touch, do something about it physically. Inner territory, you can't do anything physically. So negative work environment can affect your inner territory also. Maybe worldview, what's happening in the world nowadays, that could be affecting you. That could create disturbance in your inner territory. Like the natural calamities that are happening right now, the corruption that is too much. politics, in every field, so many other things. There's always a fight amongst group of people. So all that, at a personal level also could affect you. You have to check yourself. This is not some directly pointing out to you, but you can check if there is anything affecting you. Changing environment, that also may come as a bullet towards targeting. Past experiences, yeah. Sometimes past experiences also hit like a bullet, You feel why this had to come back. Something like that. And then determinism theory. We'll see about what are these different things. And all these, they try to hurt you. They try to displace you. They try to make you unstable. They try to make you feel weak. They try to make you feel complex. Sometimes they would try to even make you feel very low. So all this happens with these bullets that we are not actually able to avoid wherever we go. Especially the freshers, freshers who come from college and they join new jobs. Sometimes they get too much of a shock. Too much of a shock. Imagine they're coming with their dreams to the workplaces. They want to fulfill their life dream because of which they studied for so many years. And they get a shock in the very first job, in the very first few days. People are not bothered now much, how the other one feels. You're lucky if you have a very good group at home or at office or at certain other clubs, etc. You're lucky. Otherwise, everywhere you really need to struggle nowadays. So what is a negative work environment? Everyone fighting to get ahead? Promotion? No one appreciating your contributions? Sometimes that also could happen. Too much work, not enough help. Deadlines are very unrealistic. It's, creating a lot of stress in you. Budget constraints. You're given some projects to do, but the budget constraints don't allow you to really enjoy the project that you're working for. Competition, eating us alive. Lack of leadership, lack of guidance, Orders would come that you have to do this, but you really need a good leader supporting you throughout, or guidance, wherever you feel there's some problem, there has to be some guidance. So sometimes there's lack of leadership, guidance. And then there is job insecurity also nowadays. You never know when you're fired. This used to happen in the West often, hire and fire. But now it is seen in the Indian environment also. So there is a lot of job insecurity in India too. Unhealthy relations, that also is affecting. So when you have unhealthy relations at the work environment, it has an effect at home also. It will spread, it's like a virus, it will spread. Sometimes you feel the people at home may feel, why am I becoming a victim with the problem that my husband is having at the office or at somewhere else? Because these questions come. So what comes from other people's behaviors? Some people are like bulldozers. They just don't worry what's going to happen to you. They work on you completely and go ahead. फिर आपको जॉब से फायर कर देगा बॉस, या आपको बहुत कभी प्रमोशन ही नहीं देगा, डिमोशन करेगा, कुछ भी करे, ये बुलडोजर्स नहीं मानते। उनका काम ही है दूसरे को खलास करो, खुद को आगे करो। The gossipers, You never know when anything about you will be going around as a gossip, complainers, backstabbers, controllers, jealousies, domination. So many of other people's behaviors, they affect us. Every time we feel the need to protect our inner territory, every time, because there's someone or the other, coming to claim it. You have to work according to what I say. You have to think according to what I say. Nothing is left for us then. Everything, everybody else is only going to do for us. Then what we will do? Imagine that state of mind. Changing environment. Our way of thinking paradigms are changing and they are challenging us. That you learn to alter the way you are thinking. And that makes our life more difficult for a while when we have to change the way we are thinking itself. Is there any noise coming towards you from our side?
The very negligible it is.
Oh yeah, thank you so much, because there's some building work going on, okay. So then all this, when your life starts becoming difficult for you, then it causes stress. And then it doesn't stop there. It goes on and on and on. One paradigm shift is done, then there's another paradigm shift. And all this creates a lot of stress. So changing environment that we are in now, it's also a very big challenge to protect our inner territory. Then what we call our past experiences. Somebody has not given you freedom for a long time, and now suddenly you need to work in freedom. Somebody hurting you a lot. Somebody, just pushes you hard. Someone is not actually giving you respect at all in front of other members also. All the time you are facing disrespect. So much of domination all the time. You feel like a slave. Then a person working with your boss, you feel you're like a slave. Backstabbing. You don't know what the other person is doing actually for you. You hear so much negative about yourself that you're not able to stand with your own identity. There are so many past experiences, that we have to face ourselves. And many times we lose our inner territory because of that. Worldview. When we see the worldview, at that time also, we are really sometimes depressed. What's happening? There are so many questions in our mind that what will happen in the future? Where are we actually going? And then there is determinism theory, where you give that blame. Whatever is happening to you, you give that blame to your grandparents. They have done this to me. That's called determinism theory. Sometimes you blame your parents for the upbringing that they gave you. It's because of my parents' upbringing that I am now facing so many problems. We have heard so many people saying that. Or environmental, my spouse is like this, my boss, my company, my economy, whatever. Surroundings is affecting us. So this determinism theory is also going on a lot nowadays. Everybody wants to blame somebody else for their loss. Simple question. If I don't give permission for someone to enter my house, can the person enter my house? It's not possible, right? How come so many things that we right now saw have actually come to us without permission? Can they come, or we have given them the permission? That is why they are affecting us. You have to think about it. Life's little question that we have to ask ourselves: are we supposed to be under the impact of these challenges throughout our lives? Just ask yourself, are we supposed to be under the impact of these challenges in our lives? Dunya hi aisi hai. The world is like that. That's okay. We can't help it. We are living in the world. Many people tell us, no, sister, your case is different. You have left the world and all. We live in the world. We have to really take care of so many things. We can't do everything what you are doing. We ourselves have our own world. You all maybe having only 4 people in your house. You all may be having only 25 employees in the company, whatever. Here we have people, so many people coming to us every day. Our lives are affecting so many other lives every day. And we don't leave any work undone. We have to do everything in the house, like how you all have to manage your house. And we are also living in cities like you all are living. The question is, are we supposed to be under the impact of these challenges in our lives? Anybody would like to respond to this? Are we supposed to? Anybody would like to respond?
Mute yourself and you can respond.
No, sister.
Okay. Sure, you're sure about it, right? Anybody else? Are we supposed to be under the impact of these challenges in our lives? Means you readily accept that, there has to be stress because, this is how the world is right now. So I have to also experience the same stress. Or do we make a choice? Yes, I would like to be stressful, so I will be. I will be emotionally weak, We make a decision, we make it a choice. Because anything that comes out from the inner territory of ours is our own decision. It's our own choice. Nobody but me is in my inner territory. Nobody else. Outside there could be hundreds. But in my inner territory, it's only me. If you see in the history, there have been so many Indians, Bharatvasis, who have given up their lives, but they didn't hand over themselves to the enemies. You heard about it? So much. Others may have surrendered to us, but we don't know the language of surrender. We only know that if I am not going to win this, I'm not going to hand over myself to the enemy either. I prefer to die, but I don't prefer to go in the hands of the enemy. That was the spirit in Bharat. Same way we have to again talk to ourselves that I will make a choice not to be under the impact of these challenges. Whatever happens, you will have to make a choice. You will have to work towards it. You have to strengthen your inner territory. Because whatever choice you will make, that is what you will experience. If you have made a choice to feel the impact of these challenges, it will go on happening. It will go on happening. And one day, it's like that boiled frog syndrome. Must have heard about the boiled frog syndrome. That the frog normally can adjust its temperature with the external environment, whether in water, whether on land. So one person wanted to experiment this, and he put a pot of normal water on the gas stove, and then he lit the gas, and then he put a frog in that normal water. So the frog immediately started, swimming and enjoying that swim, and little by little the water started heating. So according to that, the frog started adjusting its temperature, and still trying to swim. Till a point came when the water was completely boiling, and the frog couldn't swim. And the frog thought, my God, this is not my cup of tea, and wanted to jump out. But he could not, because he had lost all his energy previously swimming, trying to adjust to every new environment. That's exactly what is happening with us. If we decide to be under the impact of these challenges and go on adjusting here and there, a time comes when those situations boil us down to death. So it's so urgent now to sit back and think, I need to make a choice for myself. I have to do something not to allow these external aspects disturb my inner territory, capture my inner territory, whether it is emotions, whether it is feelings, whether it is decisions, whether it is my ideas, whatever. So what will you do for that? You have two choices mainly. When you're faced with situations, either you give a reaction or you give a response. Because you will have to. You can't keep quiet. You can't be absolute neutral, when situations come. So there is the first choice that you have to make. A situation has come to me, whether I should react to it or whether I should give a response. Normally, what do we tend to do? Anybody? Normally, what do we tend to do out of these two? When situations come to us, what do we tend to do normally?
Reaction.
Yeah, true, na? You are speaking from your heart, right? We normally react. See, whether a Brahma Kumari or whether any person in the society, unless we don't learn the art, we keep on reacting. We have to learn the art of giving response. But first, our heart, soul, intellect, they all have to come together to say, I will respond. I will not react. I will respond. If I want to win my inner territory, I have to give a response to anything that comes. I can't stay aloof either. So let me decide between these two. What will I do henceforth? Because sometimes, something comes in a very, very hurtful manner and a very shocking manner. So you have to be be ready even for that. No? So unless we don't have the habit of responding, those moments totally take us down. So now choose the right package. Henceforth, either you decide to get succumbed into situations or you want to reclaim your inner territory. Because reclaiming your inner territory means to get your self-respect awakened completely. To feel the life from within. To feel the link between you and nature. Getting unified with nature, with others, internally. You have to choose the right package. When you get succumbed to situations more and more and more, you tend to lose your control. And then you see what happens to people who lose their control. Nobody can help them. Nobody. Because they are not ready to help themselves. Nobody can help them. It's a very sad situation today. So if you are able to understand this deep aspect, that yes, I will try to protect myself and not get succumbed to situations, then alone I can stand high with my own self-respect. So choose the right package every time. Every time, every little situation is important. Small mistakes get accumulated and becomes a very huge, not a mistake, but a huge, what do we call that? एक सब कहते हैं ना भाई एक बहुत बड़ा गुनाह हो जाता है. Small mistakes accumulate and become a big guna. So that is why we have to understand that whether I want to still get succumbed to situations or I want to reclaim my inner territory. The problem with getting succumbed is to ultimately get deceived by your own self. Nobody else is to be blamed. You're getting succumbed to situations, you're deceiving your own self. If you want to claim your inner territory, you have to wear a bulletproof armor. When bullets are being fired from everywhere, if you have a bulletproof armor, you can save yourself and you can still be the master of your own inner territory. From where does this bulletproof armor come? From self-change. I have to strike at the level of self. I have to come back to myself because that is where you started. You started moving in different directions only from self. So if you want to really feel you are having a bulletproof armor, then it will again only come from the self. From the self, you can make any new change that you want. So what are the three main things that you would like to change in yourself? Anybody? What are the three changes that you would like to make in yourself? Anybody would like to share? Change three things in yourself. Which three things? You have to, talk about it, because if you interact, you talk, there can be so many things that come out.
One point is like I have to eat on time.
Pardon?
To eat on time. Time discipline.
Time. Oh, discipline. You mean discipline. Okay. Okay. What else? Anybody else?
Way of thinking.
Way of thinking. Thank you. Anybody else?
Without reacting, responding.
Yeah, for that you have to change 3 things. So what you will change? That is the question. Because we want to now respond. Knowledge of self and virtues. Acha. Okay. Calm and peaceful. Okay. But to be calm and peaceful, what you said, knowledge. Knowledge is important, of course. Yeah. Any kind of knowledge will help you to be stronger. What other things you can change? I'm sure everybody is thinking upon it.
Impatience. Impatience.
Okay, we should overcome impatience. Acha. Acha. Okay. So to be patient, what will you change in yourself? Sanskars. Acha. Sanskars in English would be, near to sanskar would be attitude. So you're right in saying that you have to change your attitude. You have to change your way of thinking. You have to change your way of attitude. So first is way of thinking. Whatever you see from these, hear from the ears, you start thinking. There's never a moment that you will not think. Many times people say, what are you thinking? Nothing. How can it be like that? I don't believe. It's another thing that you don't want to share what you're thinking. But how can a person not think? Yeah, if you're sitting in meditation and you're trying to control your thoughts and you become still and you're not thinking, that's another thing. But in normal way, you're sitting and you're staring somewhere. And I just ask you, what are you thinking? And you tell me, nothing. Do you think it is possible? It's not possible at all. So you go on thinking when you see, when you read. Thinking is a must. If there's any area that needs a change, it is thinking. Second is attitude. Attitude is very much connected with even intention. Whatever is your intention, andar ka bhav bolte na bhav, that becomes your attitude. So you're thinking, but what is actually emerging from you is based on that intention, not just that thinking. There is somewhere deep, there is an intention in you from where the attitude will develop. So the intention also needs to be revised because it is very much connected with the attitude. What is my intention behind doing this? Because the last thing that you will change in yourself is your behavior. Once your behavior changes now, then automatically you are stronger from inside. Automatically. Unless your behavior is only because of others, you are weak from inside. Because you're behaving only in the way others are treating you. So the tendency is that you will learn also in that same manner how to treat others. And this happens from generation to generation sometimes. But that is why it's so important now, seeing the small children nowadays, seeing the youth nowadays. It's so important that we change three things within ourselves: our own thinking, our own attitude, which will lead to a very big change in our behavior. But this is incomplete because there's something deeper, deeper than only thinking, attitude, and behavior. There's something very deeper. Somewhere we have lost that completely, I feel. It's called consciousness. We are living, no doubt, we are living. But there is something called consciousness, which is really missing. It's not that we can be without consciousness. We can never be without consciousness. But the consciousness required for your strong inner territory, that is missing. Let us see what it is about. One is called acquired consciousness. The other is called inner consciousness, original consciousness. One consciousness is you work on a platform of whatever you are acquiring from life. You just use that as a platform, for your thinking, for your attitude, for your behavior. You understand that your consciousness is only based on what you have received. For example, you got this body from your parents. Have you ever thanked them? Have we ever thanked our parents that they gave us this beautiful body? So at which level of consciousness are we seeing the body also? Same way, the roles that we are playing now, on a physical level, we are playing different roles. Each one is having number of roles to play. The image that the one creates, out of all the roles that he's playing, his image, his standard and his possessions, skill, bodily relations, position, achievement, belief systems, sometimes ego developed on all the possessions that he has got. Everything, this becomes a platform to work on thinking, having attitude, and also behavior. And you know what? The acquired consciousness is all temporary. It may be there today, it may not be there tomorrow. It could be possible that sometimes something like possession, image, something like skill may not work tomorrow. Sometimes we get sudden accidents and then a person loses the hands or legs or something like that. And then he's unable to use his skill. It becomes very sudden. Sometimes you lose your image because someone, say your competitor, is trying to destroy you. So many things happen just suddenly in this. Body suddenly gets cancer and you stand nowhere in your consciousness. You feel life is finished. And ego, you get ego of all this acquired, which is not going to be yours one day, And that ego destroys completely your thinking, your attitude, behavior, everything. So how much do we live in this acquired consciousness throughout the day? How much? 50%, 60%, 80%, 90%? How much do we live in this acquired consciousness? You have to think about it. When you will work with acquired consciousness, that means any aspect of what is written here under the acquired consciousness, your thinking, your attitude, behavior will all determine from there. So it will not be very deep. It will be very shallow. That is why sometimes we may not get the results what you really want. In relationships also sometimes we don't get that happiness. Even if we get an award, if we get some recognition, by the end of the day, you don't feel so happy. Sometimes you're in a very good position, but you have so many enemies too. So all these experiences are there in acquired consciousness. What is inner consciousness? Inner consciousness is your spirit. Your essence, of your entire life, your essence that you have, your values, your principles, your energy. All this cannot be seen, cannot be touched. But that is what you are. That is what your inner territory is. And all these aspects are very, very powerful. But when you don't pay attention to them, you start ignoring them, then acquired consciousness becomes more and more important day by day. When we came to Brahma Kumaris, the very first thing that we learned, a lesson of our life, that I am energy, I am not just matter. I am not just a body, I am a soul. I am a soul in this body. I am a spiritual identity enjoying a physical experience. I am not a physical identity searching for a spiritual experience. No, not at all. Some people call it a soul, Atma, and all such names. That's just a name. No? You have to have the feeling, you have to have that experience of your inner territory, which is so rich. Which is so rich. No competition, no comparison can take place at the level of your inner consciousness. You're yourself light, shining brightly. And you have two most important aspects, two most important resources within yourself that can hold your territory perfectly. And those two resources are your own mind and your own intellect. Your thought power and your decision power. Nobody can ever go against it if you are using it in the consciousness of I am not the body or the role that I'm playing. I am much more deeper than that. I am my essence, I am my spirit, I am my values, I am energy. Energy cannot be blocked. Energy will always flow. And I have these richest resources in me, mind and intellect, which always give me companionship day and night to make my personality. And that personality will also be rich. Nowadays, because I'm not having that control of the inner territory and I'm working only on the basis of acquired consciousness, people are recognizing me with weaknesses rather than my strengths. I have strengths, but because they are not coming into the right way, into the behavior or attitude, people are thinking wrong about me. They are thinking only in terms of my weaknesses. So are they doing it themselves or I am allowing them to do that? I have to understand that I am the master of my inner territory. I am the master. Just as we tell for the karmendriyas, eyes, ears, nose, mouth, skin, hands. They're my karmendriyas. We feel they are our own. When anybody tries to hurt my ear, it's so painful. I say, don't do that. Don't hurt my ear. So much we are feeling the master over our own karmendriyas. Same thing with mind, intellect, and the personality that we create out of our mind and intellect. Do we feel that self-respect for our inner consciousness? What type of mind do I have? What type of intellect do I have? What are the consequences of how they work? What personality am I really radiating to others? Such important questions are there. And spirituality just trains you to reclaim your inner territory. Meditation helps you to reclaim your inner territory. The mind becomes like a beautiful garden with fragrance, beauty, utility purposes, where intellect becomes powerful, becomes divine, and can take decision even in the most cloudiest situations. And will take decision for the good, the betterment of one's own self and even others. And the personality will radiate so much of power that many others will be inspired to follow you. And this is what your inner consciousness can offer you. So much more, so much more. It has no limit. Acquired consciousness, everything has its limit. Everything has its age. You cannot work with beyond that age. But inner consciousness, you can keep on working. And I assure you, even mind, intellect, personality will never get tired working with you, because they are proud of you. And you feel the difference. When you start feeling the difference, yes, you need to work and listen more to how does the inner consciousness work, Shivani Ben? So how the inner consciousness work would be another topic that you could take with them, so that they have more clarity on how the inner consciousness works. But today, the thought was that's so important to reclaim our inner territory, so that we are happy, we are peaceful, we are calm, we are balanced. There is still some time to work on yourself. Have you tried changing anybody else? Your wife or your son or any friend of someone? Has anybody tried to change?
Yes, many times, sister.
Yes, many.
And result is failure.
Yeah, it's difficult, no, to change anybody else. And how can we think also of changing anybody else like that? How can we think also, no? When there are so many changes required in our own personality, where we are thinking of changing others? And nobody can be forced, you know. So the change starts from us. So if we change, if we work on our inner consciousness, we have the skill, we have the knowledge, we have the determination to inspire others, not to change others, but to inspire others. So inner consciousness will give you a complete new path towards going towards the entire outside environment. And you'll get new consequences, new results. That was the topic today. I'll just stop sharing. Okay. So I hope you all have got many things to think now. And the time is over, but 2 minutes, if we could just sit for meditation. and re-ponder on what we heard right now. Just re-ponder. Sit straight with your eyes open in front. You could focus on this point of consciousness seen in the picture. And now tell yourself, today is a very unique day. Today, I really feel blessed by the Supreme to give me an insight into my consciousness. My new journey will start from acquired consciousness towards inner consciousness. And prepare myself from within to then turn outwards. I am rich with my resources internally. But I have to make the best use of them. I have due respect for my inner territory. And that respect shall not be lost anymore because of anyone else, because of circumstances. I shall respond to everything that comes towards me from outside. By being in my true consciousness. All the acquired consciousness is only for me a means to achieve. But it is me, after all, who will go through the entire journey. It is me. It is not the means. I give respect to myself, the spirit, the essence, the values, the light within. That is my deepest core of my identity. Let me focus on my inner territory before I start a new day. So that I can decide to give a response during the day. That night, I come back to my inner consciousness before I go to sleep. Om Shanti. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sister Kreena, for this wonderful, insightful session. I'm sure all of you really loved the way the concept was explained. Yes, anybody could just unmute and share your thoughts on today's session if you wish to. Or you can share your feedback. There will be a link in the chat box where you can click and you can fill in the form. It will hardly take a minute's time, and your feedback is really valuable as your thoughts and the upcoming topics can be shared in the feedback form. The topics of your interest, and you can take a moment to give your polling for this today's session. We will take just a few seconds, just a few seconds for the poll result to come, so that all these things help us to plan our sessions in a better way for the upcoming ones. As you all know, it's been almost 10 years now since we started these monthly programs, and I'm very sure on this that many IT professionals have really benefited a lot, and we get to hear some really good feedbacks from all of you, and that motivates us and keeps us going. And I'm sure it will go a long way in the coming months also. So are we done with the feedback, Radharat, Ashutosh? It's still going on, sister.
Yes. Some people are still.
Just a few more seconds. If you have any questions, you can write in the chat box as well. We can ask Sister Kreena to spare a little more time to answer to your questions, or you can also unmute yourself and ask your question. That is also okay. All right. So there is a YouTube channel of ours. If you have missed some part of the session or you want to revisit and help yourself, you can always switch on to our YouTube channel. We have our Facebook presence as well, where we keep posting daily messages, food for thought. Plus, if you wish to get daily messages on your WhatsApp, you can always, there is a WhatsApp number given on your screen. You can send us a message that you would wish to get these daily messages, and we can always, we can always join you in the group, and plus you will get updates on the IT sessions happening in the city and at our headquarters and different parts of the country as well. So that ways you will be posted in the WhatsApp group as well. So any questions? Anybody? As of now, we do not have any questions in the chat box, so we take it as a no question, which means, sister, everybody is quite convinced and they are reflecting as to how we can apply, reflecting as to how we can, apply the knowledge which was shared by you this morning. Thank you so much for taking out time from your busy schedule and helping us with this topic today. And we look forward to more of your wisdom in these IT sessions. And once again, on behalf of the entire SiT team, I take this pleasure to thank one and all the participants to join us this morning. I understand that this weekend you might be planning different things for Dashara, upcoming festival, but still you made it and you took this time to help yourself. So best wishes, Dashara wishes from the entire SiT team. And we look forward to see you soon again on the next second Saturday, which is in November. So till then,